Anybody can be a capable Mythic Raider. There's literally shiny lights and buttons that tell you where to go to press buttons in the game. It's not hard. It's a video game. The video game is programmed to lose. It is not impressive that a person can play a video game at a high level. This is one thing that happens with like one game Andes, where like they view being good or bad at a game as an indicator of virtue. I'm sorry, guys. It's really not. This is the retail WoW tutorial. There it is, guys. Guys, it's simple. Bro, this game's been dumbed down so much. This is so... It's obvious, don't you know? Well, there's systems designers there that need to convince Bobby that they still deserve a job. So they have to go around and just rearrange things so it looks like they're working.
When we're progressing this boss, we feel like maybe we're progressing a week.
How are you listening to people that are playing the game as a job in the best guild in the world and getting feedback on how you need to design the bosses based off of that? They judge whether a raid is too hard or easy based off of, like, they want a raid to last more than one reset. Why are you even thinking about that? Why is that even on your radar? You're talking about, like, less than 100 people. And you're designing content around that you're gonna nerf 15 times? That's insane. People can say I'm wrong all they want. They can say that I'm bad at the game all they want. It doesn't matter. Because it doesn't make what I'm saying any less true. And if I was bad at the game, wouldn't that kind of be a good example? That somebody who played the game for 15 years can't even keep up with it anymore? This is the thing, right? Is that WoW, the developers, are trying to make the game rewarding for people that play it as a job. Good job. You've succeeded. They have succeeded in that, and it has happened. But here's the issue. Nobody else is going to have any fucking fun. This complexity is so unnecessary. It's so meaningless. And it's just confusing. It's weird. It's hard to understand. It makes the game completely unapproachable. And it's like these people have never played anything else other than World of Warcraft. And I know that's not true. I know Dratnos and Max have played other games. But these people are actively making the game worse by making sure that it retains this competitive edge that is killing it. Before I played a lot of other games like Dark Souls and like Final Fantasy, a lot of my opinions about WoW were very much contextualized only about WoW. But whenever I started playing other games and I saw how other games solved problems that WoW had, I realized that there were a lot more shortcomings in the game than I had imagined. And I think that really there's a reason why these other games are very popular. I feel like WoW PvP and like WoW as a game fundamentally is a pretty good game. I think Classic is probably better, but like even retail WoW, it feels like a good game. Whenever you do PvP and things are going well, sure. But the problem is that there's just so many... It's just like... There's so many cock blocks in the game. Why is raiding in WoW not fun? For me. Runbacks. I think that WoW players that defend having to run back to a boss, that's like my peak example of WoW brain. Where like they've only played WoW and it's always been like that. So if somebody wants to change it, then they don't want it to be like WoW. Needing a warlock to summon. There are more people that used to play WoW that quit than people that are currently playing WoW. So whenever I say these are reasons why I'm not playing the game, I think that there are a lot of other people that are also not playing the game that agree with that. Buffs.
Hearing people in the community telling us that they feel like they need to seek out these third-party resources just to play the game at like
Buffs. Too much trash. Well, this whole video is about people stop playing. Like, the whole video is about that, right? And that's the issue, is that people get bored of the game because they're playing, they're not making any progress, they're not getting anything out of PvP, they're not like gaining an advantage, they're not getting better gear, they're not getting better rating, they're just playing it for the sake of playing it, and eventually people get bored with playing it. It's just that simple, really. Imagine you're a young buck, you know, you're 20 years old, and you fucking love video games. You're really good at them, you're a god. And you want to invest your time into a game and you want to have it pay off. Which game is going to get you more e-girls? Valorant or World of Warcraft? Or fucking literally any other game besides WoW. And also, you can't make any money playing the game. The ceiling for like a competitive WoW PvP player is getting 1,000 viewers, winning tournaments for $1,000, and reading 1,000 comments about how you're a piece of shit. So why would anybody do it? You're a battle pet transmog mount farmer, not a real raider. Stop trying to critique a game you don't play. Well, don't you think that means that my opinion matters more? Because I'm the kind of person that would play, but I stopped playing. I mean, I play a lot of games. I played WoW for, I have 35,000 hours in the game. Like, me playing the game for 35,000 hours and rating seriously for 15 years, 10, 15 years, like, if that's not enough, then I'm sorry, but you're just coping. Like, I know it better than almost anybody. If I didn't, then people wouldn't have watched my videos for 10 years about the game. Because, like, how can you ever grow a game if you can't attract people that are new? And also, like, if people are quitting the game, don't you want to know why they're quitting the game? Of course you do. Blizzard does even. That's why they send out surveys to people whenever you cancel your subscription, asking why you're canceling your subscription. It's because it's important information. Just don't do Mythic. Okay, just don't do the hard content that's really complex, that's rewarding, that gives you the best gear, because we've made it needlessly complex. Why does it need to be that complex as a baseline in the first place? Who decided this? Well, I'll tell you who decided that. Top 0.001% players that need to use this content as a either job or an ego meter so they can feel better about themselves. This is not a good way of designing the game. Well, rating is like, the reason why Mythic Plus is better than rating is because it gives you better gear, and it also is easier to do. And you don't have to commit to a schedule. Like, I think a lot of people downplay the idea of committing to a Mythic rating schedule. Hey guys, I can't do anything for Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night because I have to play a video game between the hours of 8 p.m. and midnight. That is insane. I think that if you don't play the game at all, you do become out of touch. However, I think that if you play it all the time, you also become out of touch. And the truth is that if your job is playing the game, you will never understand an average player because they don't play the game as a job. There is no solution. You're not going to get new players for a game that gives you no clout, no money, no e-girls, and it's hard to learn. Like, that's just the truth. It's just not going to happen. Like, fuck, guys. Like, I mean, really, like, I'm just trying to be honest here, all right? You can't fix that. Yes, well, you can, but they're not going to. Somebody asked me how I would make it. I would have, like, a quota, and I would tell people you have to delete 10 abilities from every single class. From every single class. I would go through every boss fight. I would say you have to delete half of the mechanics out of this boss fight. And I would go to the add-ons, and I would say you have to delete every single add-on. No add-ons in the game at all, period, for any reason. Get rid of all the add-ons. Make everybody play on an even playing field. Remove these hyper-complex raids that are designed for people that are using 7 add-ons, 3 inputs, 2 keybinds, a Discord coach, and a fucking weak aura tracker. Get rid of that. Completely get rid of it. And make the game fun. Like, have a quota in Mythic Plus. Each trash mob, unless it's like a one individual pull trash mob, like mini-boss, can only do one ability. I don't want to have to learn a fucking boss rotation for a trash pack. It's exhausting.
There's a lot going on within a particular class, and you can be a little lost trying to figure out exactly what I should be pressing. So even just using it as
then shouldn't you address that problem rather than introduce a solution to remove it? I think that's a design problem. If a person can't like easily understand how to play their character in a video game, maybe that's a problem with the way the game is designed. Because this is what I think has happened over the course of time with WoW, is that the raids have evolved and gotten harder as a response to the player base getting better. But in the same way that the player base gets better over time, the new players don't get better over time. Because the new players only have 3 months of experience, and every single new player also has 3 months of experience. In vanilla WoW, you would go to the banks of Stormwind and you would get inspected and either kicked out or invited to a group, based off of a mage raid leader that sees a warrior in leather gear and assumes that you're a fucking idiot. In Burning Crusade, you would get invited or not invited based off of how much health you had, because you had a lot of stamina and you had good gear. And guess what happened? You had people full of fucking arena gear, except for you had other people that had min-max tier 4 or tier 5 gear, never got invited. And then in fucking Wrath, of course, we had gear score. Then in Cataclysm, we had item level. And also at that point, we also had achievements, right? It's like, I remember I used to tell people that like getting Kingslayer was like getting a college degree. You could finally join raids. So it has, you were the one checking gear? No, I was actually the one getting gear checked at that point. But like in Classic, yeah. So whenever a new player comes into the game and they try to do the raid and they're just hit with this fucking massive wall that they have to overcome of like add-ons, fucking game knowledge, rotations, procs, UI, weak auras, like all this shit. And you know, like planning and like enchants and just like all this stuff. Like you go into that, it's just overwhelming, right? And I think that people don't raid because of that. I think there's a lot of people that, you know, WoW just kind of doesn't attract for that reason. It's always been like this. It's always been like this. Like it was like this before Raider IO. It was before like this before fucking item level. It was always like this. There was no magical mythical time where you just get invited into a group because you've got a great personality and you're ready, you're a go-getter. No, that doesn't fucking exist, man. And it never did. Like people like, oh wow, people are only doing this raid because they want the cool weapon from the raid. Yeah. I'd guess so. Yeah, I think that's about accurate, isn't it? What? They should make the PvP item level for any of the gear. They should make it if you get combatant or you get even unranked, you buy the gear and it maxes out your PvP eye level and it doesn't max out the PvE eye level. That's just, it makes sense. It seems like in my mind, this seems like a perfect solution. The vanilla model is superior, don't need add-ons, don't need sweats, everyone can get fulfilled. That is another reason why I thought like larger raid sizes are better, is because you can carry people that suck. Just straight up, I just think that's a better MMO experience. I think that trying to make an MMO hard is a mistake. You should not try to make an MMO hard. I don't trust the developers to understand shit about the game. Because if they understood the game, we wouldn't be watching this video. He wouldn't be sitting in a queue for 30 minutes playing the game. So what the fuck do they know?
If you ask people, you know, hey, how can I get better? I'm really struggling at this. The first answer shouldn't be, well, download this add-on, this add-on, and this add-on, otherwise you're doing it wrong. Because that's starting to get into that mandatory place, whether we like it or not. So yeah, I think, you know, longer term, these initiatives kind of fit into.
The thing is that I'll go back to why I quit raiding. I quit raiding for 2 reasons. Number 1, my stream. That was the main reason why I stopped raiding. It had nothing to do with the raid. I would have sat there and fucking wiped day after day, week after week, and it would have been no big deal. But I quit for my stream because I could see that my stream, like I was streaming for 4 hours, the raid every 4 hours. And at that point, I was the guild master and I had kind of had that role put on me. And I had like kind of found a way to disperse that responsibility, but at the same time, I still had to do like officer meeting after stream, and I had to mute like the stream, and I had to mute my own voice, and It was just a really bad stream experience and people didn't like it. So I stopped raiding primarily because of my stream. I thought that it wasn't good stream content. It's like, imagine doing all of this and then getting kicked out of the getting kicked out of the guild because they find out you're a girl. Like, you spend all this time. You spend all of this time downloading all these add-ons and like everything, and you put in all of this effort, and they find out you're a girl and they kick you out. I thought that it was, you know, damaging for my stream. My viewers were bored, and it was annoying to play. Like, it wasn't like super fun. Like, Mythic Tomb of Sargeras definitely made it easier. But the truth is that if I wasn't streaming, I probably still would have raided. Would I have stopped since then? I don't know. It's like 7 years ago. What could have happened in 7 years, right? I don't know. So that's the real reason why I quit. No, what happened in Classic's even better. There's this guy. He's on my server. They found out he was black, and they kicked him out of the guild. So then he gets re-invited back into the guild, and they ask him if he's still black. Turns out he was. Got kicked out again. And the reason why I don't raid now is the same reason. It's because I don't really have a lot of time to raid. And it's not even that I don't have time, it's that I don't want to invest that time into something that I feel like isn't fulfilling and it's not rewarding. Now, why do I feel like raiding isn't rewarding? The reason why is because every raid tier that comes out, all of my gear that I work towards gets invalidated completely. And then new gear comes out that's easy to get, that's better than my old gear that I worked really hard for. This is why I don't raid. This right here is why I don't raid. This is a joke. I have a gear reset every 6 months, and then LFR gear is better after that? What the fuck? Like, no, that's awful. That's stupid as fuck, yes. So basically every four months or 5 months, 6 months, whenever it's a raid tier comes out, or a season comes out, as they say now, all of my progress gets reset. And like I have to do the same thing over again in order to get a recolor of like a seasonal keystone mount or something like that. Now, to be fair, the gladiator mounts are great, and you know, I really like the new gladiator mounts. They're awesome, but I mean, nobody even cares enough to do it. That's why the ladder is like dead. And why would you raid at any level besides Mythic? Because all of the gear sucks. Like, really, why would you do that? Like, maybe you do heroic for like trinkets or something like that. But like, especially normal mode raids, what's the point of this? Like, what are you getting out of a normal mode raid? It's a waste of time. That's kind of one of the other big reasons, is I feel like, for example, I felt like there was a compelling reason for me to want to raid BWL, or a compelling reason for me to want to raid AQ40, because Nax was going to come out. And fuck, there was a compelling reason for me to raid Nax because tier 3 was good in Karazhan. But why would I go and raid, what's the new raid? The fucking Vault of the Incarnates, or no, I think that's the last one, whatever it is, you know, Aberrus. Why would I go and raid Aberrus whenever the next expansion or next patch is going to come out and make Aberrus irrelevant? Why would I waste my time doing that? So that's the main reason why I don't raid. It's because I feel like you're building a castle on sand that erodes every 6 months, and there's no lasting progression to it. I also don't raid because I don't find it fun. The thing is that here is the paradox of autoplay. If a game requires autoplay, why do you have gameplay that's so meaningless that people don't even want to do it? That's the same problem here. And ironically, a Korean MMO figured this the fuck out with Throne and Liberty. You remember back whenever Ian said that people wanted to farm out Renown? And they enjoyed farming like these like bullshit systems? Like, how can you be so stupid to think that? Like, it's obviously not true. Like, it's so fucking obviously not true. And, like, I don't want to hear, oh, they've got the data. They know what the data is. If they knew what the fucking data was and they were able to act on it in an intelligent way, they wouldn't have been hemorrhaging subscribers for 10 years and then have to stop showing how many subs they have because it was so fucking embarrassing. Obviously, they don't know what they're doing.